My name is Mary J. Brown, and I am 30 years old. My boyfriend looked at me in front of his friends and said, "Leave if you want. You'll be back begging within a month." I looked at him, calm enough to scare myself, and replied, "Start counting." Then I left, moved to another city for my dream job, and tripled my salary while he slowly realized I had never been the small one in that relationship. Looking back, I ignored so many red flags I could have opened a flag store. Victor Lane had been chipping away at me for months, maybe longer, and I kept calling it stress, joking, insecurity, anything except what it was. He did not destroy my confidence in one dramatic moment. He did it the way people like him always do, with tiny cuts small enough that calling them out makes you look sensitive. The first one I should have taken seriously happened at a happy hour his company threw. Victor worked in marketing, and his friends all had that polished, glossy energy people get when they confuse networking with personality. Jason, Aaron, and Cole were already there when I arrived, leaning against a high-top table with cocktails that cost more than dinner. I showed up straight from work in jeans and a clean blouse, ready to make a good impression. Jason was the first to greet me. "Oh, you must be Mary. Victor's told us so much about you." "Good things, I hope," I said. "He says you're very stable," Jason replied, and somehow made stable sound like a medical condition. When Aaron asked what I did, Victor jumped in before I could answer. "She does software stuff, tech things. Honestly, I don't really understand half of it." They laughed. Victor laughed too. "Software engineering," I corrected gently. "I work on back-end systems for cloud infrastructure." Victor touched my arm like I was a child about to overshare at a dinner table. "She gets so technical. It's adorable." Adorable. Like I had brought home a crayon drawing and expected it on the fridge. I let it go. I told myself they were marketing people. They did not need to understand code, systems, architecture, scale. But it stung. It stayed in my chest all night, right beside the way Victor kept interrupting me whenever I tried to explain myself. Then there were the money comments. We had been talking about taking a vacation, and I suggested we save a bit more first. Victor rolled his eyes. "You're always so worried about money." "I'm trying to be responsible." "We're fine. I make more than you. Between us, we're doing great." There it was, casual as breathing. He made around $90,000 plus commission, which was more than my $68,000 at the time. But he had also lived in my apartment for almost a year without paying rent. He contributed maybe $200 a month toward groceries when he remembered, and somehow still called himself the practical one. "You know I pay for the apartment, right?" I said. "And I appreciate that," he replied, like he was granting me a compliment. "But come on, Mary. It's not like you're struggling. You're just careful. Too careful sometimes." I wanted to say careful was why rent was paid. Careful was why the lights stayed on. Careful was why he had somewhere comfortable to come home to after calling me boring in public. But I swallowed it. Big mistake. Another time, at Cole's birthday party, Victor pulled me aside after I had been talking to someone about work. "You need to stop doing that," he said. "Doing what?" "Talking about code and systems. People's eyes glaze over." He asked what I did. "You were boring him. Just talk about normal things, sports, travel, not work." "You talk about work constantly." "That's different," he said. "Marketing is interesting. People get it." He kissed my cheek after that, like the insult came with a receipt for affection. "I'm just trying to help you make a good impression." All of this was building to something. I see that now. Back then, I just kept trying to become easier for him to respect. Then the offer came. A tech company in Austin, senior software engineer, $185,000 base salary. I read the email 3 times before I fully believed it. This was not just a raise. This was a door opening into an entirely different life. I told Victor that night over dinner. I got a job offer, I said. Senior engineer role in Austin. He barely looked up from his phone. Austin like Texas? Yes, it's huge. The salary is almost triple what I make now. He laughed. You're not seriously considering moving to Texas. I am. Mary, be serious. My job is here. My friends are here. We have a life. It's not just money. It's the role I've wanted for years. Your job is fine, he said, already looking back at his screen. You're just having one of your moments. You'll feel different tomorrow. I did not feel different tomorrow. And when he asked me to cook dinner for his friends that weekend, I should have known the countdown had already begun. That weekend, Victor asked me to cook for his friends. He always did that when people came over because, in his words, I was actually good at domestic stuff, which he somehow meant as a compliment. I spent 2 hours making salmon, roasted vegetables, and homemade pasta, while he got ready in the bedroom, changing shirts 3 times and asking if the lighting in the apartment made him look tired. The irony of him treating my home like his stage while contributing almost nothing to it did not escape me, but I still told myself to keep the peace. Jason, Aaron, and Cole arrived right on time, dressed like they were going to a rooftop launch party instead of dinner in my apartment. Jason walked in, sniffed the air, and grinned. Mary's playing chef tonight? Victor laughed. She's useful for that. I paused at the stove for half a second, waiting for him to correct himself, waiting for even a small glance that said he knew he had gone too far. Nothing. He was already pouring drinks, smiling like the charming host of a house he did not pay for. Dinner started fine, if you count fine as me sitting at my own table feeling like hired help. They talked about work, clients, influencer campaigns, some Miami trip they were planning like it was a business necessity instead of an excuse to drink somewhere warmer. I tried to join the conversation twice. Both times, Victor redirected it before I could finish a thought. Then Aaron turned to him. So, did you close that luxury car campaign? Not yet, Victor said, leaning back with that practiced confidence. Final negotiations. If it lands, it's a $200,000 contract. Jason whistled. You're killing it. Cole looked at me. What about you, Mary? Still doing computer stuff? Software engineering, I said. Actually, I just got offered a senior position. Victor cut in with a laugh. She's thinking about moving to Texas for it. The table went quiet for half a beat. Then Jason raised his eyebrows. Wait, you'd move for a job? What about Victor? It's a serious opportunity, I said. Senior engineer, Austin, nearly triple my current salary. Triple? Cole leaned forward. What do you make now? 68. Jason chuckled like I had told him my allowance. Oh, that's cute, Victor smiled. Not an embarrassed smile. Not protective. Proud. Yeah, I make more than her, which is why this whole Texas thing is ridiculous. I'm basically the breadwinner here. The words hit harder than they should have, maybe because they were not just false, they were lazy. I put my fork down. You don't pay rent. The table went silent. Victor's smile vanished. Excuse me? You haven't paid rent in a year, I said, still calm. I cover the apartment, utilities, most groceries. You contribute maybe $200 a month when you remember. His face flushed. Are you seriously doing this in front of my friends? I'm stating facts. No, you're being petty because you're embarrassed. He laughed sharply, turning to them. Can you believe this? Aaron shifted uncomfortably. Maybe we should… No, Victor snapped. Let's talk about it. Then he looked back at me, and something ugly finally stepped out from behind his smile. If you're so unhappy, leave. Go to Texas. Take your little job offer and see how far you get without me. Without you? Yes, without me. You think one company making you an offer suddenly makes you impressive? His voice got louder, fueled by his own audience. You're boring, Mary. You spend your weekends writing code and playing video games. I'm the one with the social life, the connections, the actual career trajectory. Without me, you're just some girl sitting in front of a computer all day. Nobody laughed now. Victor leaned back, crossing his arms. Honestly, leave if you want. You'll be back begging within a month when you realize how lonely Texas is without anyone who actually cares about you. I stared at him, really stared, and for the first time in 2.5 years, I saw him clearly. Not charming, not misunderstood, not insecure in a way I could love him through. Just small, trying to make me smaller. I stood up. Start counting. He blinked. What? You said a month. Start counting today. I walked to the bedroom, grabbed my laptop bag, my keys, and my coat. Victor followed me, laughing nervously now. Mary, stop. You're being dramatic. My friends are here. They just watched you humiliate me, I said. Enjoy the rest of your dinner. He called after me. You always run away from confrontation. I turned at the door. I'm not running away. I'm leaving. There's a difference. I drove to a hotel, checked in, and sat on the bed with my laptop open. My hands were shaking by then, but my decision was not. I opened the email from Austin and typed one sentence. I accept. When can I start? 15 minutes later, they replied. 2 weeks works. We'll handle relocation. For the first time all night, I smiled. The next morning, I went back to the apartment while Victor was at brunch with his friends, because of course he still had brunch. The man had humiliated me in front of 3 people at my own dinner table, then apparently slept well enough to wake up and order mimosas. I unlocked the door and stood there for a second, looking at the half-empty wine glasses, the plates stacked in the sink, the pan I had scrubbed clean before leaving still sitting on the stove. It was amazing how quickly a home could start looking like evidence. I packed fast. Clothes, laptop, chargers, passport, birth certificate, tax documents, the hard drive with all my work projects, toiletries, the hoodie my dad gave me, and the little framed photo of my mom and me at my college graduation. Everything I needed for the next 2 weeks went into 2 suitcases and a duffel. Everything else could wait for movers. Victor's clothes were still in my closet, his shoes by my door, his cologne on my dresser like he had roots here. But roots do not grow where someone refuses to pay rent. Then I wrote the note. Took the job. Moving to Austin in 2 weeks. Lease is in my name. You have 30 days to find a new place. I'll pay this month's rent to give you time. After that, you're on your own. Mary. I left it on the kitchen counter with a copy of the lease and my spare key. I stared at it for a moment, waiting for guilt to rise. It did not. All I felt was the clean click of something finally locking into place. Victor called 6 times that afternoon. I did not answer. Then the texts came. Are you serious? You're throwing a tantrum over one dinner? My friends think you've lost your mind. I replied once. Not a tantrum, a decision. You have 30 days. He answered immediately. You can't just kick me out. We've been together over 2 years. The lease is in my name. You never paid rent. 30 days is generous. His next message came fast. You're being cruel. I stared at that word for a long time. Cruel was cooking dinner for someone and listening to them call you boring while eating it. Cruel was letting your friends laugh at the woman keeping the lights on. Cruel was calling yourself the breadwinner in a house you did not fund. I blocked him. He called from Jason's phone. Blocked. Then Aaron's. Blocked. Then his mother called, voice tight with judgment. Mary, this is ridiculous. Victor made a mistake, but you're being extreme. He has nowhere to go. He has 30 days. You'll regret this when you're alone in Texas. Maybe, I said. But I'll be making $185,000 a year while I regret it. Then I hung up. The next 2 weeks blurred into logistics. I gave notice at my current job. My boss looked disappointed, but genuinely proud. "They're lucky to have you," she said, and I almost cried because it had been so long since someone valued me without adding a joke after it. My team threw me a goodbye lunch. They asked questions about Austin, about the company, about what I would be building. They listened when I explained the work. No one called it adorable. The Austin company assigned me a relocation specialist who found me a clean apartment downtown, walking distance to the office, with sunlight in the living room and no man in it telling me I was too careful. I hired movers, I changed passwords, I separated bills. I did everything carefully, the way Victor used to mock. And that carefulness saved me again. The day before I left, Victor showed up while I was loading the moving truck. He looked terrible. No polished jacket, no smug smile, just red eyes and panic. "You're really doing this?" he asked. "I am." "Over what I said at dinner?" "Over what you meant at dinner." He rubbed his face. "I was drunk, showing off. I didn't mean it." "That makes it worse, Victor. It means humiliating me was how you impressed people." His eyes filled. "Please, we can fix this. I'll apologize to everyone." "I don't care what you tell them." "Then what do you want?" I looked at him, standing in the parking lot of the apartment I paid for, asking what I wanted only after I had stopped giving him everything he wanted. "Nothing from you." I got into my car. He stood there crying as I pulled away. This time, I did not look back. Austin was everything I needed it to be. Not perfect, not magical, not some movie montage where heartbreak evaporates the second you cross a state line, but mine. My new apartment was modern, clean, and quiet in a way my old place never was. No Victor's jacket thrown over my chair. No half-empty drink glasses on my table. No man calling himself the breadwinner while standing barefoot in a home he did not pay for. Just sunlight on bare floors, unopened boxes, and the strange peace of realizing nobody in that room was disappointed in me. The job was even better than I expected. Smart team, collaborative environment, real engineering problems that made my brain wake up again. My first week, my manager pulled me aside after a systems design meeting and said, "We're really glad you're here. Your interview was one of the strongest we've had." I almost did not know how to respond. It had been so long since someone respected my work without smirking or calling it tech stuff. Then my first paycheck hit, $7,150 after taxes and benefits. More than I used to make in a month. I stared at the number for a while, not because money was everything, but because it proved something Victor had worked so hard to make me forget. I was not small. I was not boring. I was not lucky he tolerated me. I was capable. Every 2 weeks, I bought something new for the apartment. A real desk setup, a decent bed, a lamp I did not have to ask anyone's opinion about, art for the walls. I joined a rock climbing gym, even though I was terrible at first and my forearms hated me. I went to tech meetups where people actually got excited about back-end architecture and cloud scaling. I made friends who invited me to brunch, climbing trips, and late-night taco runs. Slowly, I started remembering who I was before Victor taught me to apologize for being myself. Through mutual friends, I heard things about him. I never asked, but people love delivering consequences like weather reports. Victor had moved back in with his mother because, despite making good money, he apparently could not afford the lifestyle he had performed once rent became real. Jason and Aaron stopped inviting him out. Cole called the dinner incident the most uncomfortable thing I've ever watched. The luxury car campaign he had bragged about fell apart. His work performance slipped. He kept asking people for my new number, then my address. I did not care. 4 weeks after I moved, my phone rang with an Austin area code I did not recognize. I answered because I thought it might be work. "Mary," Victor breathed. "Oh my God, you answered." My stomach dropped. "How did you get this number?" "I'm in Austin," he said quickly. "I flew down. I needed to see you. Please, I'm downstairs." I found out later a mutual friend had given him my building name without thinking. I handled that separately. In the moment, I went down to the lobby because I wanted to see whether I felt anything. Victor sat in one of the chairs near the entrance, looking tired and unpolished. When he saw me, he stood too fast. "Nice building," he said weakly. "What are you doing here?" I needed to apologize. That dinner was a mistake. I was drunk and insecure, and I took it out on you. I didn't mean any of it. You said I was boring, that I needed you to be interesting, that I'd be back begging. I was wrong, he said, eyes wet. Look at you. New city, new job, new life. You're thriving. I miss you. I miss us. I could move here. We could start fresh. I stared at him, almost amazed. You think I want you to move here? We were good together before I screwed up. No, Victor. We were comfortable for you. I paid rent, cooked dinner, cleaned up, and let you feel bigger than you were while you told your friends you were the prize. His face crumpled. People make mistakes. Don't I deserve a second chance? You told me I'd come back begging within a month, I said. It's been 4 weeks. Here you are in Austin, begging. Don't be cruel. I'm not. I'm being accurate. He whispered, Are you seeing someone? That is none of your business. So you just replaced me? No, I said. I upgraded my entire life. You were part of the old version. I turned toward the elevator. You'll regret this, he called after me. I flew all the way here. I looked back once. Start counting. The elevator doors closed. 2 months later, I got a LinkedIn message from Victor congratulating me on my promotion to lead engineer. You were right about everything, he wrote. I hope you're happy. I read it once and did not respond. My phone buzzed again. A text from my climbing friend asking if I was still coming to the meetup. I grabbed my keys, stepped out into the Austin sun, and realized I had not thought about Victor all day. That was the real ending.